Let's go to Stan in the radio booth. Stan?
Thanks, Ann. Here with Jeremy Sowders from the Bloomington Economic Development Corporation. You know, we've been hearing for a long time now that Bloomington and Monroe County are in something of a bubble when it comes to either the housing downturn or the financial crisis. Do we believe this to be true, or is this just something politicians say to make us feel better?
Well, first of all, thank you for letting me be here to speak tonight, Stan. We are fortunate. I have to admit that the economy is not the strongest it has been in the past, but here in Bloomington, I believe the unemployment rate is at 5.8% versus on the statewide 8.2%. And that's due a lot to a Cook and a IU, as well as a couple other, or just really the life sciences environment we have here and the technology environment. So the short answer is yeah, we are actually a little better off than our surrounding counties.
Well, what do we do to keep it that way? I mean, how do we keep ourselves insulated from what's going on outside, either from the state as a whole or the country as a whole?
Well, I think we have to be proactive. One thing that we're doing with my organization, the BEDC, we recently created a Bloomington Technology Partnership. And basically what the goal of that is to start bringing our companies together that are in the technology industry and find out what our strengths and weaknesses are, and to be proactive and go out and to basically fill the voids that need to be filled, as well as to market what we've got here. And we followed the model that we did with life sciences about 5 years ago with an organization called the Bloomington Life Sciences Partnership. And we've had really great results from the Life Sciences Partnership, and we're starting to really see some traction with this technology partnership.
We got some good news today. It looks like that the Bloomington GE plant is going to be open a little bit longer, and you and I were talking off camera, and it sounds like maybe a few more people are going to get to full-time retirement because of today's news.
Yeah, that was great news, and we don't have all the details yet. What we do know is that they're going to stay open beyond the first quarter of 2010, which was the date that GE originally said they were going to close the doors. And you nailed it. Just with every day they can stay open beyond that first quarter of 2010, we get a little bit closer to people reaching the retirement age, and they can possibly claim full-time benefits. And we're gonna stay optimistic. You never know; they may stay open for several more years, and that'd be great. So,
well, we could certainly use a little more good news, couldn't we?
Sure.
Thanks, Jeremy. We'll go back to Ann in the studio.
All right. Thanks a lot, Stan. And we have Mitch Frazier joining us now, the Director of Media Relations at Indiana Economic Development Center in Indianapolis, along with Peggy, staying here a little bit longer. And first off, let's just talk about the housing market a little bit more, Peggy, if we could. What rumblings have you heard in terms of possible bills or anything like that to help people in the housing market?
I have not seen those coming forward since we've been spending a lot of time, again, talking to these agencies, but we're going to be having more and more folks. I know we are going to hear a bill on Monday dealing with making permanent the assistance we provide for energy efficiency and for energy assistance for folks. So we know that we've got small things that we can do for folks. I have not seen any of the bills quite yet, but as I was saying earlier, we've got to do something to provide some assistance to folks.
Moving to local, to Bloomington, to Monroe County, is Monroe County or Bloomington really in a housing bubble? I hear realtors talking about this, that kind of thing, compared to Indiana.
Yesterday, we had the realtors from around the state at the State House in the Capitol with us, and I visited with some of the local realtors, and they were sharing that December, January was not too bad for them, that they were having people coming in, they were writing offers, they were selling houses. And it's probably because of the low interest rates, because there are markets or houses that are available, as we were talking about earlier, unfortunately, because there's so many foreclosures. And some people that still do have a little bit of money are being able to take advantage of this depressed time.
Okay, Mitch, we talked a little bit about this earlier. This week, news came out that Indiana's unemployment rate skyrocketed past the national average, 7.1 average to 8.2%. First of all, a little bit of what's behind this, do you think?
As you look at what's driving the economy and certainly what's driving the unemployment rate, you have somewhat of the effect, frankly, of the housing bubble, where you have consumers who are overextended, where credit markets then follow that collapse as consumers no longer have the cash to put into their homes as they become devalued. The credit markets continue to crumble following that, and then businesses have no ability to access capital. Therefore, now you have a situation where the companies that still are able to exist, still able to grow, simply can't get access to the capital they need to continue growing their business. So it's a challenge that you can't separate out between business and the consumer, the home. It's the entire economy that we really need to focus on growing and supporting the capital access markets as well as businesses themselves.
And we've got one of the problems, though, because of all this unemployment, we have a terrible problem in the state of Indiana with our unemployment insurance trust fund is completely bankrupt, as we were talking about bankrupt. We also have that here in the state, and we started having hearings today at the State House about what are we going to do to be able to change what we're going to do, what we can do. And is that going to be increasing a tax on the employers? Is it going to be decreasing the benefits to those who are unemployed? A combination of both. And we're really working closely with the governor's administration to try and figure that out. It's got to be a cooperation between the two.
And that really becomes the challenge as you look at rebuilding that unemployment trust fund. Certainly some of the language that's in the House bill that passed today at the federal level, there is funding to buffer the losses in the unemployment trust fund. But we have a structural deficit that has roots many, many years ago in more money going out simply than was coming in. So working with the General Assembly, Representative Welch and her team, really understanding how we refund that unemployment trust fund, yet minimize the impact on business. One of the great things that Indiana has, and we continue to outpace our neighbors in this, is we have an unmatched business environment. CNBC in 2008 said most improved state for business. Forbes magazine always continuously calls us one of the best places for business. What we can't do is be short-sighted, increase a tax that decreases our competitive advantage, especially at a time
Absolutely,
now.
but
Well, Mr.
also
Frazier, I have a
watching
question for you
the-
on that, though.
Not decreasing the benefits.
Okay, Stan has a question real quick.
Mr.
Sorry.
Frazier, I have a
that's
question.
okay.
You know, Indiana's been ranked highly for business, and Governor Daniels during his re-election campaign continued to say that the state was an island. We've been keeping unemployment low. We've been creating jobs. It seems like that's slowly frittering away month by month, though, is it not?
The challenges that we have are certainly present in the global economy. The rankings that positioned us as one of the best places certainly in the Midwest and among the best in the country still exist today. Representative Welch and the General Assembly have given us the tools that we need to be in a competitive environment. However, as you look at what's happening across all industry sectors, as fuel prices have gone up significantly, we saw a huge increase in RV closures with that, and then the capital access markets as well. Significant challenges there, but the important thing is we have to continue to have the best environment. We've faced some challenges on the unemployment side, but we have to do everything we can now in a down economy to ensure we emerge out of this stronger than we ever came into it.
Okay.